Welcome back. This week we're going to go with a Clouser Minnow. This fly was originally done by Bob Clouser in Pennsylvania for smallmouth on the Susquehanna River. It's a river I fished as a kid. A decent amount, I wouldn't say a lot. I haven't been back there since I moved away from Pennsylvania, but phenomenal fishery. Well, it was back in the day. Phenomenal fishery. I heard they ran into some stream health issues, but I think they got that squared away and it's starting to make a pretty good recovery. So maybe one of these days when I get back that direction, Dad and I will take a trip up to the Susky and maybe do some bass fishing again, depending on what time of year I get home and all of that. So anyhow, like I said, it was originally done as a bass fly, but as it turns out, it's a phenomenal trout fly too. Just a great overall general streamer pattern, really. Color combinations on this, whatever you decide to go with, it is entirely up to you. You know, the chartreuses, the yellows, orange, gray, black, you name it, just whatever you decide to run with, go ahead. But realize when you're tying this that hold on, let me make sure my measurements are right. We look good there. Realize when you're tying this that the top of your fly is actually going to be the bottom because of how your hooks are, because of how your lead eyes are positioned. Your lead eyes are sitting on top, so it's going to ride upside down. So what we're tying in here with this white bucktail is actually going to be the bottom of your fly. So whatever you tie in on the top is going to be what the fish is seeing. I'll go ahead and get this trimmed up here. There we go. Get that trimmed and just get a couple of good thread wraps in there, and then we're going to flip this upside down and we're going to take a couple strands of just clear crystal flash. Like I said, this is simply the color that I picked for this pattern. There's no hard and fast rule as to what color it needs to be. Just let your imagination run on this, basically. So hooks, it's not real specific. This is a mustad 3X streamer hook. You can use whatever you want. If you prefer the 2X heavier wire or light wire, whatever. There's really not, there's so many variations of this fly. You know, I've seen it done with craft fur. I've seen it done with obviously the bucktail. Just a ton of different materials that are used for this, but the original was done with the bucktail, so that's what we're going to go with. And like I was saying, hooks, whichever you prefer. I mean, it's going to come down to the species that you're targeting a lot too. So that'll be a factor into picking out which hooks you decide to use. But that was, I don't know, maybe, we'll call it 8 to 10. I didn't take the time to measure out how many pieces of crystal flash we were throwing in there, but we'll call it 8 to 10. We threw that in on the underside, and it's just, as this is riding this way, that internal flash is going to come through. If you want to throw it on the top, if you want to throw it on the bottom, I don't really think it makes a huge difference. Either way you want to do it is fine. But let me just get a couple more wraps on these lead eyes. Then we're going to come up to right at the eye of this, and we're going to take some orange for this one. Like I was saying, any color combination that you want to use, have at it. We used to fish on the Susquehanna River a good bit for smallmouth, not to be confused with the Little Susquehanna. Little J's trout stream. The Susquehanna is predominantly a smallmouth river, and this orange and white combination worked pretty good for us. But this was years ago. Seems like a lifetime ago, honestly. Back when I was just starting to learn how to, well, no, not really just starting to learn, but back when I was just really getting into fly fishing and tying and all that. So I'm going to take this off to the side and measure to where it's just about the same length. The orange can be a little bit longer if you would like it. And we're going to make a wrap right behind our eyes, and we're going to start to really wrench down on this. Now we're going to come in front of our eyes loosely at first. Just kind of work this in. This hair is not compressible. We've talked about that before. It's not going to, like a deer body hair, where it's going to compress and disappear on you. So I mean, you can make your wraps really tight here, and it's not really going to cinch down a whole lot. There's a couple of these that I don't like there. I'm probably going to trim that up before I take the picture, but we'll still be able to get the overall idea of what we're trying to do with this. So we have some really tight wraps on this. For me, it makes it a little bit cleaner if you just take your razor blade right above your thread wraps and just kind of work this through here. I got a pretty dull blade, probably a good thing so I don't slip and cut through my thread. I got a really dull blade apparently. There we go. If you want to, it'd be easier to measure this out. Make an angled cut, or an angled cut toward the eye of the hook would be the best way to cut that. And it'll make it a little bit cleaner, a little bit easier to work with, but you'll see here, I mean, it's not going to take us a whole lot, just a couple of good wraps, and we'll cover this up, but it'll be a little bit quicker, a little bit cleaner if you do it that way. And we're just going to wrap these over here. Just do some figure eights. Make sure everything's good and secure. And you can go ahead and whip finish. And then if you really want to, I don't find it necessary, because this is going to be the top of your fly right here. If you want to, for aesthetic reasons, you can go ahead and color this up. I'm not going to. I don't think it makes a damn bit of difference to the fish. But for aesthetic reasons, the fly tires especially, you know, if someone else looks at your stuff, they're like, oh, what's that mess? But doesn't really matter. But there you have it. I mean, a very quick, simple, but yet very effective pattern. There is the Clouser Minnow. Guys, got any questions? As always, shoot them to me. I'll get back to you as quick as you can, and I think I'm going to have to buy a new remote here shortly, so I'm getting a little off on me not wanting to cooperate. But like I said, there's the Clouser. If you guys have any questions, shoot them to me, and we will catch you next Wednesday. Thanks.